everybody? My name is Puffy from the Geek Up Show here on the Geek Up Show. Today for Spider-Man!
Yes.
250. Yes, and today it's going to be a really good issue. It is part 2 of a Hobgoblin 3-parter. But before we get into this fantastic book, let's go ahead and introduce our cast. You're going to watch real magic here because you're going to see a puppet press a button.
Whenever he fixes his microphone.
To my side, you can see her. She's right there. She's every woman in the world. To us, it is Miranya.
Good evening, everyone.
Over there, the only circle that you see on the screen is a little green, we call him, well, y'all know him, some of you love him. Froggy!
He's an icon.
Hello.
And below, you can see the special guest. He has gone ahead and graduated from replacement brain into his own being, Mr. Graphic Man.
Hello, all.
Graphic Man. Yeah. And yeah, that's right. And then right there with the
guy's going to take your order at McDonald's.
It is Capsack.
It's Capsack. Yeah, this is how they spell Joe down here. By the way, it's a little Cajun education for y'all. We like the EAUX at the end.
You know, that explains a lot about you.
So, Joe Burrow, baby.
And of course, our narrator for the evening, it is Mr. Eric Breen.
Who dat?
What is that?
You didn't count down and then crack it.
This is this I don't know what happened. This is from 1988. This is what we can now trade in for the 2022 model.
Well, we know what happened if he drank something from 1988.
Ooh,
He's gonna be feeling that in the morning.
that's skunky beer.
Hey, Miss So. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
Sorry about your ears. I didn't consent to that either.
Listen.
I liked it.
When that
Do it again.
masked menace starts showing up, I can't help it.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Sorry. Typing a little too much into the character. But before we show off this book, there is one thing that has to be done, and I have to turn off my camera.
Aw.
I know.
Now you're a shining icon, just like me.
The night just keeps getting better.
And here we have it, a special normal-sized 250th issue. Something's funny about special normal size to me, but
I like that. I'm getting flashbacks to the Lion King. Looks like Simba fighting Scar right there.
I just like the fact that it's a great steal.
Modern comic book fans are going, they make numbers that high?
That's fake news.
Well, you look over to the where it says Marvel and you have the actual Hobgoblin, and they're saying it's great, steal it. That's new.
Ooh, he's in crime.
I know, right?
He's promoting piracy.
What a menace.
Oh no.
Yeah, who's the
Behold-
real menace?
Behold the face of death, behold the Hobgoblin. And with that said, I will pass it now to Mr. Brain.
Stan Lee presents the Amazing Spider-Man in Confessions.
Dun, 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 dun.
He's been blasted, gassed, and beaten by the mysterious Hobgoblin. And now, bereft of his warning spider senses, Spider-Man suddenly finds himself surrounded by an angry mob.
Oh no!
Of multi-millionaire businessmen.
Oh no.
Possibly the best issue of Spider-Man ever. What better way to celebrate our 250th issue?
Best? We'll find out. Sheesh! I try to stop the Hobgoblin before he can extort any money from these stuffed shirts, and what thanks do I get?
What?
Hey, where'd he go?
They ought to be happy that I showed up. It was pure luck that I found out about Hobby's blackmail scheme. That and the fact that one of his intended victims was my old buddy, Harry Osborne. When Harry received a copy of evidence that proved his late father had been the murderous Green Goblin, I knew that the blackmailer had to be Hobgoblin. Only he could have had access to the Goblin's old journals. As Peter Parker, I convinced Harry to let me tag along to his meeting with the blackmailer at his father's old club, but I hadn't suspected it would be a mass meeting. Evidently, Hobgoblin has something on a dozen or more members, including my own personal gadfly, Daily Bugle publisher, J. Jonah Jameson.
That menace is messing with church! Oh.
What? I just wish that had been my only surprise of the day, but when Hobgoblin finally showed himself and I butted in a spider stream yard, he had a little gas attack prepared just for me.
Just as I was about to win the limbo contest.
Oh dear.
Oh, that special gas.
Ah.
The gas neutralized my danger-detecting spider sense, and then he laid me out good. Probably would have finished me off, too. If it wasn't for that meddling Kingpin, I mean, if one of the club members hadn't stood up to him, boy, I never thought I'd wind up owing my life to that man, the Kingpin. Of course, he had his own reasons for saving my hide. You're helping me? Why?
This Hobgoblin is a very capable man. In time, he might grow bold enough to interfere in my operations. I prefer to let you apprehend him. It's simply good business.
Talk about weird. Those pants, too.
Shut up about my pants.
The Kingpin, one of my oldest enemies, saves my life, and these guys who I tried to help want my head.
You insufferable fool!
Now the Hobgoblin will probably double his demands upon us.
Is this still me?
Yes.
Well, yeah, look at that. I would have thought that Jameson would be getting the tar and feathers ready for me by now, but he and Harry seem to be the only ones who don't want to flay me alive. JJJ keeps looking away, as if he's ashamed to face me or something. And Harry keeps looking around for a barber?
For Peter Parker.
Yikes! He's looking for me! Or rather, Peter Parker.
Peter Palmer.
As Pete, I promised I'd stick close by while he went into his closed-door meeting. Time for a strategic withdrawal.
Through a window.
Clinging to the sheer wall of the historic old building, Spider-Man swiftly skitters around the corner,
Skittles? Oh.
surreptitiously re-entering the club via a little-used room
The men's room.
to assume once again his private identity.
Oh, good. My civvies are right where I left them. Phew. I still feel a little woozy after that StreamYard pounding the Hobgoblin gave me.
Quack.
I better shake that feeling, and fast. I have to get back downstairs and assure Harry that I haven't abandoned him.
Mere moments later,
Harry, here I am. Looks like I missed out on all the excitement. Sorry, but nature called and it quacks. Oh, Mr. Jameson, hi. I'm afraid I don't have my camera with me, or I'm off duty.
That's just as well, Parker. I hardly need pictures to remind me what happened here today.
Huh? Harry, what's going on here? I can't believe Jameson's just gonna walk out of here. Surely not before the police get here.
I don't think anyone will be calling the police, Pete. See for yourself.
The steering committee was planning to remodel anyway.
Yes, I think we should just forget this unfortunate incident.
The boys and I understand perfectly, don't we, boys?
Yes, sir.
sir.
Huey,
That's
Dewey, and
right.
Louie.
Shortly, amid pleasanter surroundings,
I couldn't believe it, Pete. My father's oldest associates were ready to beat the living daylights out of Spider-Man. You should have been there.
Yeah, it must have been something. Too bad Spider-Man couldn't stop the Hobgoblin. That would have settled this whole mess.
Maybe, maybe not. At any rate, just before Hobgoblin left, he said he'd be in touch. And you can just bet that whatever demands he'll make on us next time will be higher. But what bothers me most was how familiar Hobgoblin seemed with the workings of Dad's club. Almost familiar enough to be a member.
Okay, Namor.
It's awful to think that one of Dad's friends would try to blackmail me. Almost as awful as knowing that Dad was the Green Goblin.
I wonder how much blackmail material Hobgoblin pulled from Osborn's journals and how much he already had. Just what all is in those journals anyway? Green Goblin discovered my identity before he died. What if that secret's in there too, just waiting for the Hobgoblin to find it? I need to find Hobgoblin now more than ever. But how? Without my spider sense, I can't even track down the spider tracer that Kingpin stuck on Hobgoblin's jet glider.
Well, what do we have here?
I should make those things smaller.
One of Spider-Man's self-adhering microelectronic tracer buds, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm a genius and I know how to say big words. How nice of them to give me one, but then he won't be needing them anymore. Ha! According to the information in Norman Oliver's journals, he relies on his uncanny spider sense to follow their signal. And after the gassing he received today, he won't have any spider sense for a long time. Dear Norman, if only you could see how I improved upon your genius. But then your poor mad mind probably wouldn't have recognized them as improvements. Surely it was your psychosis that kept you from using the discoveries in these papers as effectively as I have. After all, it was amid these pages that I found the formula for increasing my strength and used it to make myself even stronger than you had been. Perhaps the strongest Spider-Man.
You wish.
Quiet or I'll gas you again, you creep. And further improved the nerve deadening gas that robbed the masked man of his extra sensory warning system. His Peter Tingle is no longer tingling.
Don't worry, they make medication for that.
They did take a pounding.
Interesting. The final entry tells of a plan Osborn had to use that gas as a tool to expose Spider-Man's identity. Narrator?
All right. See ASM 39 and 40.
Thank you.
Think nothing of it.
I wonder if he succeeded in learning that the secret before he died. Would there be a way of finding out? The secret of Spider-Man would be worth more than all of Osborn's other secrets combined.
Later that afternoon, at Peter Parker's apartment building.
Take that!
I think that's me.
Not you.
Oh.
Unless you're a woman now.
This is Peter Parker's apartment building. Sorry.
Yeah. Take that and that.
Whap! Whap!
WAP? Yikes.
And is that?
Oh,
Whap.
different WAP. Okay.
Oh no.
No, that'd be called FAP, and that's not its right.
Lazy husband. If he'd had these rugs cleaned like he promised, I wouldn't have to be breaking my back.
If I can't track down Hobgoblin directly, maybe I can still get a lead on Craigslist. I mean, what? Oh no! Of all days for my landlady to be up here beating rugs. If she sees me,
What's that? Huh. Could have sworn I heard some. All this stuff's supposed to be getting to me. I'm starting to imagine things.
boy, that was a close one. I'm gonna have to oil the hinge on the skylight more often. If my spider sense was working, this would never happen. I can see right now that I'll have to be a lot more careful until it comes back. If it comes back.
And just like that.
Whap.
High atop many of the man-made peaks of Manhattan roost the homes of the rich and powerful. One such dwelling is the penthouse duplex of financier George Vandergill.
I think that's Spidey.
Oh, talk about plush. Excuse me, Georgie. Got a minute or two for a little man-to-man talk?
You can take him graphic.
What? Who in the devil?
Don't tell me you've already forgotten your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We were both at that little bash earlier at the club today. Remember, I was one of the ones who had to leave early.
Well, if you think I'm just going to stand still for you barging into my home.
Easy, Mr. V. All I want is a little information. Remember our other little playmate, the Hobgoblin? Well, I'd like to put him away for a nice long time, and I think you might be able to help me. Like, maybe you noticed something about him that reminded you of somebody you know. Or maybe the sword he's holding over your head is a clue to his identity. Please, if you could tell me something, anything, I might be able to track him down. And once I find him, you won't have to worry about any more blackmail.
Well, don't be naive, Spider-Man. I don't have anything to worry about now. Hobgoblin doesn't have any information that can do me harm. I only took part in that charade this afternoon to find out who was involved. As for who he is, I haven't a clue. Now get out of here. If you want to frighten a confession out of somebody, go talk to the others. They're weak. They'll crack in a minute.
Thanks for nothing, Mr. Ego.
Ring.
You're welcome. Hello? Vandergill here.
Yeah, sure. I'm calling about to confirm your reservations on flight 106 nonstop to Bimini. Will you be needing a return flight?
No, that is, I'll book it when the time comes.
Nice to see my cousin's getting work.
Enjoy your flight on Muppet Airlines.
All right.
Waka waka.
Shortly, at a palatial estate in the Hamptons,
Roddy. Will you quit pacing the floor and come sit down? I'm beginning to think you don't like me.
Hey, don't be ridiculous. I just have a lot on my mind. For all the times for my brother to be out of town, if I ever needed him.
I could help you forget your problems if you just sit down.
Oh,
strumpet.
the risque.
Not now, Sheila. Can't you see I'm...
Sheila? My name is Stephanie. Who's Sheila?
Oh, no.
Christopher walking out the door.
Stephanie, it's not what you think. Sheila is a buyer for Sachs who's been on my back lately, and
Not one more word. I don't want to hear about it.
Mr. J.
Stephanie, don't Christopher Walken out that door. I can explain. I
That's Spidey.
Oh, is it?
That's Spidey.
Sorry to interrupt such a warm domestic scene, King of the Old Worm.
I mean, could you not tell by the giant spider signal?
Well, I was looking at the dialogue. It didn't sound.
Well, he doesn't have a spider. He doesn't have spider sense, so it's he's all out of whack.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm on a scavenger hunt for hobgoblins, and I'm in a big hurry. Also, check out my abs.
Ooh.
The glowing light hypnotizes you. Look at my crotch.
What do you know about the hobgoblin? Who is he? What does he have on you? Is he you? Talk.
nothing. I don't know a thing. I haven't the slightest notion of why he could be blackmailing me. Please leave me alone. Please.
Nuts. I won't learn anything from him. He's too scared to talk. Probably wouldn't even give me his autograph.
Over the next 12 hours, relying upon a list of names and addresses Harry Osborn had compiled for Peter Parker, Spider-Man visits each of the men who had been at the meeting. But always the answers are the same.
Get out of here, pervert!
That's pretty creepy.
Get out of my shower!
It's Santa Claus.
Are you out of your mind? Absolutely not.
No.
I'd sooner talk to Jack Anderson.
Not General
General
Mortis.
Mortis!
No! Who let him in here?
Why would I trust you any more than I do this hobgoblin person?
This who?
Hobgoblin!
Finally, with the dawning of a new day, we find Spider-Man!
There's just one guy left to try, and he's sure to give me the air, but I have to try. I have no other alternatives. Ugh, this is such a drag. I never realized how much I'd come to depend on my spider senses. Sense?
Imagine that all of your senses have been deadened, that you can see no light, that every inch of skin has been numbed, that even the sound of your own heartbeat has been denied you.
Whoa.
Now imagine what it would be like if your senses suddenly returned, amplified 100-fold, just as a bomb went off.
See Daredevil. Issue number 1.
That was toxic waste. That wasn't a bomb.
Now imagine this wasn't an exposition dump. If you can imagine that, then you might possibly have the slightest idea of the pain Spider-Man has just experienced.
He's going to experience more if he doesn't do something. Oh.
Only his amazing reflexes and his web shooters save him from a 30-story fall.
Always those flagpoles.
Gah! What was that? Has my spider sense returned? No, the old familiar background buzz is still deader than a doornail, just like I almost was. I'm not sure how Hobgoblin's gas works, but I think it somehow numbs the central nervous system. My spider sense is still there. I just can't feel it.
It works when you breathe it in, dummy.
The only thing I can figure is that some really big danger, flashed into being for a split second. Something big enough and weird enough to nearly take the top off my head. But what could possibly be so huge a threat that I'd still feel it through the numbness? And how could it disappear so quickly?
It's Jameson. Run.
Is this at all related to the other mysterious spider sense flash? Take 2. Is this at all related to that other mysterious spider sense flash I had at Harry's party? Ah, nuts. This is worrying. This worrying is getting me nowhere. It's certainly not helping me find the hobgoblin. Just the same, I wish I knew what was going on.
See last issue. Danny.
DeVito.
Minutes later, the worried web slinger finally arrives at his StreamYard destination. Just outside the executive offices of the Daily Bugle's publisher and editor in chief.
Here we go.
I created the Scorpion, an editorial confession by J. Jonah Jameson.
He writes in Klingon?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nerd.
So that's the dirt Hobgoblin had on you. Also, I can read upside down.
Yo!
Yeah, me. I knew you were mixed up with that Scorpion maniac somehow, but I never knew you'd actually footed the bills for making him the way he was.
Yes, I did it. It's not a thing I'm very proud to admit. But by Gadfrey, I will not submit to blackmail! J. Jonah Jameson admits his mistakes! Spider-Man!
Baloney! If that's the case, you would have owned up to it years ago, you old hypocrite.
How dare you call me that, you masked menace!
You've never been too reluctant to call people names, pal. For years, you've editorialized against me. Your weird haircut, saying I was a vigilante operating outside the law. Well, isn't that what you've done? You and your scorpions and your hired heroes like Luke Cage and Spider Slayer robots. You're as much as an outlaw as I am. And now that you've been caught by someone who has proof, you think you can put on a hair shirt and throw yourself at the public's mercy?
The public may judge as they wish.
What the hell is a hair shirt?
It's a shirt they made out of hair is a penance.
It's a penance thing.
Yeah. Hey, you can't make a public confession you can't make a public confession to something like this and still play editor in chief. Your career as a newspaper man will be over. You're crazy if you think otherwise. Wow, he is crazy. Yeah, and maybe I'm a little crazy too. Forget about the martyr bit, Jameson. I'll find this hobgoblin creep. I don't even know how, but I will. And I'll even save your job. And if that doesn't prove I'm crazy, then nothing will. And then, when all this is over, maybe the two of us outlaws can come to terms. Don't bet on it.
Yeah, 40 years later, then they finally do.
Clack, 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 clackety, clack.
Soon, back at Parker's apartment.
I'm such a jerk sometimes. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. There is a way I can track down my spider tracer. If I could just find a shirt.
No.
Aha! There it is. I thought I tucked it away in here. Wouldn't you know it'd be at the bottom of the trunk.
It's your Daredevil costume.
Aunt May's old jewelry box, because I swiped her jewelry. And inside, my old spider tracer directional tracking receiver.
Your what?
Yeah. Seeing this again really takes me back.
Take it back.
I was still in high school when I assembled this little gizmo in the first of my spider tracers. All I was worried about at the time was keeping tabs on Dr. Octopus right after he was released from prison. I never knew just how handy those tracers would prove to be over the years.
Way, way back in Amazing Spider-Man issue 11. Danny.
Back when Eric Breen was a young man.
Eat hot death. Venkman.
It was a year or so before I discovered that by alternating the frequency of the tracers, I could pick up their impulses with my spider sense alone. It's been years since I've used the tracking receiver, and it looks like it. The battery's leaked. It's a mess in here.
Yikes, all that acid?
Yeah, better keep it away from Harry.
It
It looks like you're already taking it. Look at his eyes.
I know. Wow. Yeah, I need a nap. Blast. There are some micro components in this thing that would take weeks to order, and I don't have weeks. The Hobgoblin's no fool. If he hasn't already found my tracer, he soon will. And when he does, he's bound to monkey with it enough to make it inoperable.
Click.
I have to clean this thing up and pray the contacts haven't totally corroded away. Then the only thing I can do is try to reset the frequency indicators and cross my fingers. Here's where I see just how much of a science whiz I really am. Spoilers, he's a pretty big one.
Science rules.
Several hours later, in a squat 2-story building nestled in the heart of the warehouse district,
Where nothing sketchy ever happens.
the Hobgoblin gleefully busies himself analyzing his newest prize.
Remarkable. I just
Phrasing.
finished monkeying around with this. The design work on it is brilliant. If Spider-Man made it himself, he must be nearly as gifted as Norman Osborn was.
Nearly. Make that more gifted, Bright Eyes. See, because there was a monkey in Planet of the Apes called Bright Eyes.
Spider-Man! I don't know how you found me. I mean, with a tracer right here, but I do know this. You'll never leave here alive.
Quizak!
Yes?
You're lying.
Way to go, Bright Boy! I thought my spider signal lamp might be a tempting target. Too bad you didn't know it detaches from my belt.
Good luck making another one, poor boy.
Now, when say we resume that little game we started the other day?
Classist scum.
Yeah. Elitist?
You're mad. You haven't a chance without your spider sense.
Sorry, Paleface. You're only half right.
Ooh.
Racist.
That real face, you bastard.
Mad. I'm real mad. I used this move on the Hulk once.
Kring.
Or I will in the future.
A lucky punch. But your luck isn't limitless. You knocked me right into the heart of my weapon stores.
Mister, I could have knocked you into the middle of Fort Dix, and I still wouldn't have done you any good. A fort made of wow.
Fort Dix.
Dicks.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
What? No? The way you had my blaster, it'll over at LX.
Land.
That's the point. Okay, Hobby Lobby, it's all over. Time to take off your big bad mask and. Ooh,
I think not.
do a backflip.
So you thought you could defeat me without your spider sense, eh? If that sucker punch didn't convince you otherwise, then this will.
Breed.
Breen?
What?
Fire the brain gun.
Oh no.
It just says eat hot death with each shot it takes.
Eat hot laser death.
He might be right this time. I'm fast enough to stay out of that automated ray cannon's way, but it's firing at random. But without my spider sense, I have no way of knowing where it'll hit next. I'm bound to slip up sometime. And when I do...
Woof. Boom.
No! Not the journals!
Wall Street.
The journals? You can read?
The Vampire Diaries!
Oh.
No! The cannon set on fire, and I had him in composite. Blast you! Blast you!
Hey, don't throw that!
Out on the street, passersby stop and stare as the little building suddenly lights up like the sun.
What the blazes is going on? And
Crack-a-boom.
Krakoa?
there,
The explosion is followed by fire. In instants, thick, acrid smoke fills the Manhattan skies.
Mr. Jameson, sir, you sent for a copy boy?
Oh, yes. Tell Joe, great restaurant, by the way. Tell Joe Robertson there's some sort of fire in the warehouse district. I'm sending a reporter over there right away.
Yeah, yes, sir. Is that all?
No.
Dear God.
Take this down to composing. Have them set it for page 1.
Uh-oh.
Next issue, endings, a conclusion, and one issue away from a book you should have gotten when it hit the stands because now you can't afford it.
Yes, it is a grand old book. Oh, why did I keep this up like that? And this was a great issue, and it is special, even though it is normal sized. That's right. Don't ever let her tell you otherwise.
That's okay. Normal is okay.
It was very well paced.
It was.
Exactly.
That's what he said. Sorry, I couldn't help.
There's some football chat going on in the comments, but hello to you, MK and Miss Zoe. Hope you enjoyed. That is the end of our dear book and our dear Spider-Man!
And my dear hearing.
What?
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 What? Fire the Bring Gun!
Again?
Eat hot death, Spider-Man!
That's what we need. I need that line now. But that is the end, and I can hear Froggy tell me in my mind, Froggy tell me in my mind to pull up the ticker to remind you to please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us, did you enjoy the performance? Did you enjoy the issue? Anything. Hey, how's the football game going? Go ahead and say it in the comments below.
Well, the 49ers are up 17-7.
Ooh. Who are they playing?
Could we have
The Rams.
Bengals, Niners, pot tray?
Furry?
I don't know.
That worked so good for the Bengals the first 2 times.
Tigers.
Nobody asked you, Missouri man.
Also, check out the Ko-Fi while you're at it. You might as well, if you have a book you'd like us to read, well, go ahead and just leave it with $1 if you can, and we'll put it to the top of the reading list. But don't miss next Friday when we read Conclusions. It'll be a heck of a book with a shocking ending for us all. Dun, dun, dun!
Do I have more lines in 251?
No, there's no Kingpin.
What?
I'm sorry.
You'll be narrator.
I just did all your lines.
Well, I'll tell you what. That
I
was
feel good.
It's like when they told him he was going to be in those issues, he probably said, "Do I do anything?"
Like Jameson?
Vanessa, is this a good deal for me to partake? Tell me.
When I was a boy, we had more lines in these issues.
When I was a boy, we enjoyed reading comic books.
Right
Yes.
after I took him off of the person that bought it.
Right after
By force.
I personally would have read Kingpin as, it's me, I'm the Kingpin, you know?
And this is why we don't let you read Kingpin,
That's
Froggy.
I'm the Kingpin. I do what I want. Screw you.
You will never be Kingpin.
Should have been a little. That's a little more goblin-like.
Hey.
So that
Yeah, your
Who
face.
was the Kingpin?
that's right.
And
All
you know
right. We've pressed it on for far too long. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
And remember, only you can set forest fires.